Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at Legacy.com in the third week of July 2025. Legacy.com is where you can find any obituary or publish an obituary in any local community in America and beyond. Actor Malcolm-Jamal Warner died July 20th, 2025 in Limon, Costa Rica. He died in a drowning accident at the age of 54. Warner was still a young teen when he became a beloved TV star, playing Theo Huxtable on The Cosby Show. He is also being remembered for his later performances in such TV shows as Malcolm and Eddie, The Resident, and Sons of Anarchy. Singer Ozzy Osbourne died July 22, 2025 at his home in Jordan's, Buckinghamshire, England at the age of 76. He had been battling chronic illness, including Parkinson's disease. He was the original lead singer of Black Sabbath, pioneering the style of music that became known as heavy metal. He later went on to a successful solo career, with hits such as Crazy Train and Mama I'm Coming Home. Osbourne is also being remembered for appearing as himself in the reality series The Osbournes alongside his wife Sharon and their children Kelly and Jack. Football player Bryan Braman died July 17, 2025 at a hospital in Spokane, Washington. He died of cancer at the age of 38. He was a linebacker with the Philadelphia Eagles who helped the team to victory at Super Bowl 52. Braman is also being remembered for his seasons with the Houston Texans, including an iconic play in which he tackled an opponent helmetless. Skydiver Felix Baumgartner died July 17, 2025 in Italy. He died in a paragliding accident at the age of 56. He made history in 2012 when he jumped from the stratosphere, free-falling 24 miles to Earth and becoming the first person to break the sound barrier without being in a vehicle or craft. He is also being remembered for daredevil feats like jumping from some of the world's tallest structures. A native of Austria, Baumgartner was a veteran of the Austrian military. Actress Eileen Fulton died July 14, 2025 in Asheville, North Carolina. She died after a period of declining health at the age of 91. She was one of the original daytime TV divas, starring as Lisa Miller in As the World Turns for 50 years, from 1960 until the show's end in 2010. Fulton is being remembered as one of the greatest love-to-hate-her characters in soap opera history. Race car driver Rex White died July 18, 2025 at the age of 95. He was a pioneer of stock car racing who got his start in NASCAR in the 1950s and racked up 163 top 10 finishes over 233 races, including the NASCAR Grand National Championship victory in 1960. White is being remembered as NASCAR's oldest champion before his death and for having been inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2015. World War II veteran and TikTok star Jake Larson died July 17, 2025 at his home in Lafayette, California at the age of 102. He lied about his age to join the U.S. Army in 1938 when he was just 15 years old. He participated in the D-Day landing, both helping plan the invasion and storming the beach at Normandy, and he went on to fight in the Battle of the Bulge. Larson is being remembered for his TikTok channel, Storytime with Papa Jake, which went viral as he told stories of his World War II service. Lyricist Alan Bergman died July 17, 2025 at his home in Los Angeles. He died of natural causes at the age of 99. He and his wife, Marilyn Bergman, were a powerhouse songwriting team, winning Oscars for their work on The Way We Were and The Windmills of Your Mind, as well as their music for Yentl. Bergman is also being remembered for co-writing the theme songs to such TV shows as Maude, Good Times, and Alice. Musician and songwriter George Kooymans died July 22, 2025 in Belgium. He died after fighting ALS at the age of 77. He was the guitarist for the Dutch rock band Golden Earring for 60 years, playing on songs like their 1974 hit Radar Love. Kooymans is being remembered for writing Golden Earring's 1982 single Twilight Zone, on which he sang co-lead vocals. Actor Kenneth Washington died July 18, 2025 at his home in Beverly Hills, California. Various sources are currently reporting his age at either 78 or 89. He joined the cast of Hogan's Heroes in its final season, and he was the show's last surviving main cast member. Washington is also being remembered for his performance in a classic episode of Star Trek, as well as for his recurring role on Adam 12. Professional wrestler Hulk Hogan died July 24, 2025 at his home in Clearwater, Florida at the age of 71. He was a WWE legend whose massive popularity in the 1980s became known as Hulkamania and made WrestleMania and Saturday Night's Main Event must-see TV. Hogan is being remembered as one of wrestling's all-time greats and a two-time inductee into the WWII Hall of Fame, both as a solo wrestler and as a member of the NWO. Musician Chuck Mangione died July 22, 2025 at his home in Rochester, New York. He died in his sleep at the age of 84. He made the flugelhorn cool with instrumentals like his 1978 top 10 jazz pop hit, Feels So Good. Mangione is being remembered for his recurring guest appearances as himself on King of the Hill. There are still a few more celebrity tributes, but first, let me just say that some of the most remarkable obituaries we saw this week at Legacy weren't for celebrities, but for everyday people like you and me. Those include a beloved wife, mother, and grandmother remembered for her joyful spirit, playful sense of humor, and endless generosity. An acclaimed furniture maker whose mastery of his craft earned him commissions from 5 U.S. presidents and 2 popes. A U.S. Army veteran who also served her community as a volunteer, helping people with special needs through therapeutic horseback riding. And a 100-year-old great-great-grandfather whose life story spanned 3 whole careers as a trucker, a bar owner, and a limousine driver. At Legacy.com, any family can publish an obituary in honor of a loved one's memory, online and in local newspapers everywhere. Just visit Legacy.com and select your local community. In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 5 years ago this week, TV personality Regis Philbin died at the age of 88. He was best known as the co-host of Live with Regis and Kathy Lee and the original U.S. host of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. 20 years ago this week, actor James Doohan died at the age of 85. He went down in sci-fi history for playing Chief Engineer Scotty in the original Star Trek series and in many movies, video games, and the animated series. 50 years ago this week, singer and songwriter Lefty Frizzell died at the age of 47. He was an influential country music star whose #1 hits included If You've Got the Money, I've Got the Time, and Always Late with Your Kisses. Game show host Alex Trebek was born 85 years ago this week. He died in November 2020 at the age of 80. He was the beloved host of Jeopardy for 37 years. Author and socialite Zelda Fitzgerald was born 125 years ago this week. She died in March 1948 at the age of 47. The wife of author F. Scott Fitzgerald, she was called the first American flapper, and she influenced media long after her death. She inspired the Eagles' song Witchy Woman and Princess Zelda, the title character in the Legend of Zelda video game series. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in Ohio have been lowered to honor the memory of former state representative Jack Serra. Flags in California have been lowered to honor the memory of Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department detectives Joshua Kelly Eklund, Victor Lemus, and William Osbourne. Flags in California have also been lowered to honor the memory of California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation parole agent Joshua Lamont Byrd, who died in the line of duty. Flags in Delaware have been lowered to honor the memory of World War II veteran First Lieutenant Raymond Fermani. Flags in South Dakota have been lowered to honor the memory of former state legislator Michael Mike Diedrich. Flags in Wisconsin have been lowered to honor the memory of Van Dyne Fire Department safety officer, firefighter, and emergency medical responder Amy Sue Lee, who died of injuries sustained in the line of duty. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. Follow Legacy.com on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.